Absent Theo's first date takes an unexpected turn as Justin informs Theo about Abby's drug abuse. Cash continues to pursue Tim, contacting everybody on his friends list, trying to dig up dirt. Alf has all but given up on the bait shop after Rue fails to secure a better deal with the landlord. That isn't till he gets a talking to from Palmer. And Xander bids a fond farewell to the Bay and, crucially, his girlfriend as he heads to Melbourne for a work placement.
Will you look at that?
What do you want, Palmer?
Good evening. I want to know what's going on.
I'm being practical, that's what.
You love that shop.
Yeah, I do. But I've decided to stop being a sentimental old goat, take my medicine and move on, and so should everybody else.
The bait shop is a fixture of the community.
Well, it's out of my control now.
Is it though?
It's the truth, Palmer. Will you just let it go?
But it's funny. You're the first person to stand up for everybody else around here. But you won't stand up for yourself. Is this how it really ends?
When you're standing on the ground.
We are Si and Sophie. This is Coastal News, a home and away podcast, your weekly episode companion podcast for your favourite Aussie soap.
Have you ever seen anybody on the flip side, Sophie?
On the flip side, no comment. What are you trying to say?
Well, I was trying to say something innocent, but now
Not
we've
around
already
me, you can't.
8 seconds and we're into smut. How are you? Are you okay?
I'm good. I'm feeling quite chipper today. I don't know what. I think maybe because I've had a glass of prosecco and I've had a bad week at work and now I'm just like, it's the weekend prosecco and then
Yes,
bit
podcast
chipper.
day. Yeah.
Podcast day.
Yeah.
Or
Chin chin.
podcasts day, I should say. Because
I've
your
been
phone
I
can't say
know.
podcast. Your phone says podcasts.
It
So-
does. Yeah, and we've run with it like everything else we change on here.
Exactly. Podcasts. Happy Podcasts Day, Si.
Happy podcast. Cheers. Let's cheers to that.
Cheers. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm all right. Yes. I'm in a good mood as well.
Good.
I've had a nice easy week. It's half term. Work was quiet. And yeah. So
Nice.
it's been a breeze. How was home and away for you this week?
I'm struggling to remember what actually happened this week. Was it all just him and Cash put in psychotic? I think it wasn't it, basically?
That's steaming up a bit. You did, to be fair though, you did request that sort of kicked
Oh,
into
yeah.
gear, didn't you?
I'm not knocking it. Like it's been so entertaining to watch him falling apart. Like it's awful because they've taken a character that I love and they've made him cray. But
Yeah.
it's so entertaining to watch him unravel. It's been a laugh and I've enjoyed the furniture on the lawn scenes and I've enjoyed him just being wide-eyed and crazy. He's a good actor, isn't he? So he pulls it off. So it's
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
And we'll get into it later. But yeah, it's I think this story is we said crescendo, didn't we, the other week? I think this is really building.
Yeah.
And we were wishing it along, weren't we? But now I'm quite happy with this choice of this slow burn on it, because it means we get to savor it over a few weeks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
My favourite part of the week was we'll get into it, but it was the community bait shops, #save the bait.
Yeah.
You know I love these stories. I ask for one every year.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm quite looking forward to that. One thing I want to talk to you about before we get into it, because it sounds like on the same sort of line, you know, the whole community stuff, this surf gala that's coming up.
Yeah.
And it was a poster on Digital Spy, keen eye noticed, you know, the shot we had of the poster for it, this week.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
and it said, and they're normally quite good at this, but this must have got through. It said on it 21st of November.
Oh, did it?
Yeah.
Oh,
Which I thought was a good thing to bring up. So well spotted.
wow. I didn't spot that. Okay.
Yeah, I didn't, and then I was like, oh, hang on. I'm
Oh,
doing my calculations because we were in Oz then.
yeah. So
And it was
that was one of the episodes that was going out while we were there. So that's
the
close to
finale.
the final. Yeah.
I think it was the final.
Oh, was
It
it?
was a Thursday. Would it have ended on like a
Ah,
triple Thursday or something?
yeah. We tried to avoid it while we were there, didn't we?
Yeah.
So
Oh yeah.
yeah.
I had breakfast telly on and they had it all on, interviewing him, diving for the remote. Turn it off.
I remember you asking me. You were like, "Did you see what was it?
Mhm.
Sunshine or something they have on in the morning, or I can't remember the name.
Sunrise. Yeah.
Sunrise. That's it." And you were like, "Did you see it?" Cash was on it talking about raspberries. I was like, "Damn it, no, I didn't see it." But I'm glad I didn't, because obviously
Yeah.
I don't want to know what happened.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I only caught a raspberry chat and then quickly turned it off.
I have seen a picture of it where it says like Nick Cartwright, raspberry expert, and it did make me
Yeah.
laugh. So
It's all he talks about. You'll see. It's all he talks about. So yeah, so well spotted. So that was a good. So we're getting close to whatever that was, which is always big. So it
yeah.
sounds like the carnival's going to be part of it, or the surf club gala, which again, do you remember days gone by when we had surf galas and things all out and stuff? I love those days. So that's
Yeah.
where I'm at, with the show. That's what I love, those things. So
It's funny that you mentioned that date being on the flyer, because obviously normally we are date agnostic in Summer Bay, and we don't even know
yes,
what season we are, never mind what day of the week it is or what
yeah.
date it is of the month. We had an email from Jacob this week, and he talked about the flyers for the gala as well, and he spotted a typo.
Oh.
Well, we think it's a mistake. It's open day gala, but apparently, and Jacob said he read it said open gala day, not open day gala. So I think somebody really boobed on these flyers. I need to go and have a look at it, because I didn't even spot that myself. So I need to go back and have a look.
I will have a look.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we'll have to check. Yeah, okay. Well spotted again, Jacob. But yeah, they're slapping. They're normally really good at these. The props team.
Yeah.
Slacking. Someone must have been on leave and someone else stepped in. Slapdash.
Yeah.
They ran it through AI, didn't they? Then when we chat GPT'd what we'd look like.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Not accurate.
No. Right, should we talk about this week's home and away?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. Top of the week, you'll remember Marley was fishing about for information about Abs and Theo's and how they're getting on, just as she was getting ready to go on a date with him. And I quite like Marley being really jealous and like just like I started smiling when he's like fishing for info. I was like, yes, Marley. And meanwhile in town, Justin has collared Theo finally, and he's like, look, man, gives him a warning about all this drugs and Tim, etc. And Theo is a little bit taken aback by it all, isn't he? And he's like, no, I want to do the nice thing. I just want to can't really what we're supposed to do. I can't really just say, no, you're a druggie, get out. I want to have to, give a time to explain. So they do go out and meet, don't they? And they're on this walk and talk in the exact same spot we had a walk and talk. I'm still doing it. I don't know about you watching the show.
Oh, I am. I keep going. I sat there. I sat at that bench.
I know. Yeah, I'm like, Xander's getting in his car where we were. Yeah, so they go on this walk and talk, and he just comes out with it, doesn't he? Brazen, like, listen, have you got a drug problem, love? And to be fair to her, she's really honest. And she explains, doesn't she, that she doesn't try and run from it. She's recovering. She's trying to turn her life around. She's getting there. But she spots the hesitation and the history that he's obviously this is a big thing for him. And I think recovering herself, she's probably got a better understanding of why he wouldn't want to continue as opposed to somebody who doesn't share that experience, I guess. with her. So she says, let's call it quits. Good news for Marley, I was thinking. Good news for Marley.
Mhm.
Whom she goes to come for comfort, which is getting quite of a habit, might say.
Yes.
She then leaves him and goes to the hospital to find Levi to sort of get a big hug from her brother, I guess. And he's weirdly frantic when he finds out that she's had a bad day because of the drug thing. He's weirdly frantic and like literally running around town search party. And I was thinking, that's a bit much, Levi, mate. I don't know what you thought about this. I was thinking, I know like has this fragility, but like he was frantic in his search for her. And I
Well,
always
I
thought that
don't
was a bit.
know. I don't know. I see what you mean, but then I don't really know why Abs got into drugs in the first place and what it was that tipped her over the edge, and whether it was anything as trivial as, because obviously we had that scene, didn't we, where she was getting ready for the date. She was dressed up, ready to go. She looked excited. She was like, "How do I look?" And he was like, "You look nice." And she was like, "Oh, I'm not going to church." And she's like, you know, she wanted to look really good for this date. She was excited about it, and he was there for all of that. He knew about it. So when he heard that she'd had a knock, yes, he was over the top about it. But I was also thinking, yeah, but we still don't really know why she went down the drugs route in the first place. Like, what?
So you think his reaction is related to that, maybe, and
Yeah,
that's
I think
why. Oh,
so.
okay.
I think
Okay.
it's like it didn't really take much for her to start taking heroin, as far as I can make out, unless we're not being told something. I don't know what the reason was really, apart from the fact that her parents split up
Family
ages.
life, yeah.
Yeah, when she was a teen, and obviously her sister moved away and all that. Yeah, okay, it's horrible, but it's a long time ago, and it's a weird thing to suddenly, as a, you know, a 20-year-old or whatever she's meant to be, just suddenly start taking heroin. I don't know. So part of me was like, maybe she doesn't really need a big reason to go off the rails, and I
Yeah,
don't know.
perhaps. Yeah. I mean, as it happened, I mean, unbeknownst to him, she is at the hospital staring at the medicine trolley. So,
Which
like
is
she
zip
wants to eat
lock tied.
it.
Did you see the zip lock?
Like, that'll
It's zip
stop him.
locked. Oh
I did
wow.
see the Ziploc. I did chuckle. So as it turns out, he was right to be a little frantic, but he doesn't know that. And I just felt like
No.
it was all a bit overkill. I thought, God, most brothers would just be like, "Oh, I heard about your bad date. Sorry, love." So
Yeah.
yeah, you're right. I didn't actually think it through. I didn't get to a full thought there. You're right. Why? There must be a reason. Why is that
That's
strong
all I could think
reaction?
of. That's all
Mm,
I could think of, because
mm,
I was like you. I was like, gosh, he's obviously really worried about her, and he's right. He's right to be worried about her. But then, what made him think that? And all I could think was, we don't really know why she went off the rails in the first
mm.
place, and maybe this is enough to do it. You know, I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah. I guess that's as good a reason as any. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that
Yeah.
that works for me.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank God Dana saw her just as she's about to try and get into this drug cabinet. Now, rather than be horrendous about it, reporting and police and all that, Dana has this gorgeous chat with her. And who'd have thunk it? All she needed to get through to her was Dana. You
Mm,
know, that scene was really, really poignant, and it works. Like she gives out this crisis counseling number, and she then starts turning the corner and says, "I've got to see this through." Uses it, and Levi's like relieved beyond belief. Mac's
yeah.
happy again because everyone's calmer. Um, and Dana solved everyone's problems. Queen Dana, everyone bow.
Aw,
Did you
yeah.
like that scene?
I
I
did.
thought that was so nice.
I think this was a really important scene as well, because Dana and Abby, not that different in age, but very
Mm,
different in, and also when you think about Dana, she's got that background, that history of her parents being drug addicts,
yeah.
and then, you know,
Which
obviously
she
her and
does
Harper,
touch on, doesn't she?
yeah, and her and Harper have spoken about that, and you know, it comes from a place of them not wanting to have anything to do with their parents, and you know, that was a bad time in their life, but then she's still got that sympathy for someone who is an addict, who's going through it. You know what I mean? It's like, it's just a
Yeah,
really nice contrast to see that.
yeah,
Yeah, it was good. I thought this was good. I think it's important for her. Abby to speak to more people, basically, in the Bay as well.
I agree. She's widened a circle. She's turned
Yeah.
a corner. This feels good. This feels like we're finally moving with this now.
Mm.
And I feel better and more at ease as well
Yeah.
watching it. Yeah, I agree with you wholeheartedly, as always. Not always,
Not
sometimes.
always. Not about Marley.
Cash is in a right foul mood this week, for a change. Getting a lecture off Harper and Tarney when we meet him at the top of the week, about going through Tim's glove box last week. And he just appeases him, doesn't he, to get him off his back, basically. I won't do this again, blah, 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 blah. Next thing, he's scouring Facebook. Again, looking at Tim's Facebook friends list. It doesn't take him long until he finds out, first I wasn't paid, I was Petra Russell. First I was afraid, sorry, I should have said I was Petra Russell. And finds himself on, was it a hairdresser's website or something, this Petra?
Yeah,
calls
so.
her up and he's like, out of the blue, like, what's the nature of your relationship? And I was thinking, what the hell is he doing?
This made me laugh. This is what I say about it being entertaining, because he's so bad. Like, he's a cop. Like, this guy's a cop. He's been a bodyguard. He's not dumb. But there's something broken in his brain at the moment, and he's just not making the right decisions, and he's just being a moron. But it's very entertaining because, he's using his real name. He's using the work phone. And he's ringing her and saying, "Hi, I'm a police officer at Yabby Creek," like telling her exactly who he is. And then, so yes, you've got a brother called Tim Russell. Okay, I've got the wrong number. Bye. I was like, you clearly haven't.
And then, like, you don't think she's gonna tell him? This weird policeman rang up. I wonder who it could be.
Yeah, from Yabby Creek Police Station. Oh, there's only 4 of them. Who could it be? Oh, I was just crying. I was like, what are you doing?
I think we were supposed to understand it in the moment. And to be honest with you, my mind did go there. We were supposed to think he's married, weren't we?
Yes. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And then obviously she confirms that she's in fact his sister. So not married. So he goes back to his list.
Wrong number.
So at first I was afraid I was Petra Russell, is Tim's sister.
So funny. I tell you what also made me laugh. Did you notice the fact that he'd printed off Tim's Facebook friend list? And he had them all printed out, and he was going through them. I was like waiting for the highlighter pen to come out. Highlight this one. This one's got an interesting surname. Oh my god, I was crying laughing. So funny. Who prints anything? He's just screenshot it on his phone.
Not only that, he's gone into YCPD in his civvies to do it on the weekend.
It's so funny.
He's not even got it. To be honest with you, though, if he tried to print it at home and turn the printer on, he'd probably get 16 versions of Richard the Third.
I hear that's a common problem.
Yeah, I have to go tomorrow to try and sort out the source of that.
Oh, poor Nan. I love it. Oh, Nana, I love you.
To let the listeners in. I had a phone call off my nan. In her late 70s, she is, bless her. She turned the printer on to print something for club on she does like a club on a Wednesday for all the oldies in town. And she's chair, so she was printing off notes, for the AGM. She turns the printer on, probably since the first time since the last AGM, and pictures of Richard the Third start coming out. I was just crying.
Oh dear. I love it. I love Nan stories.
So now I'm going tomorrow to try and stop it. She's pulled the plug and to buy more ink. There we go.
He's buried near me, or reburied, I should say.
Is he?
Yeah, he's in town. Yeah. Yeah.
No, you don't think he's... Oh, God. I know what you're like with the spirit life.
You think I've coded him?
Well, how's it coming out of me Nana's printer?
I don't know. I can't
Has
answer
he,
that. I don't
has
think
he
that's
heard the pod?
spiritual. I don't think that's a spiritual thing. I'm not sure. I'm not an expert on these things. We need to ask Marilyn, I think. Yeah.
Imagine being a ghost and thinking, aha, I know what I'll do. I'll print pictures of myself.
Oh, you're giving me ideas. I'm writing this down. When I'm coming back to haunt you.
You know what? I'll absolutely wet myself.
I'm going to print pictures of us standing there in the car park with Eden. Yeah.
Oh dear.
Oh, dear.
So it's all he's gone. You know, he's printing friends. He's just doing silly things, isn't he? And wasting paper.
This is cash now, not Richard. Not Richard.
This is cash. We're back on topic.
Oh dear. It's easy to get them mixed up, you know.
It is.
Just
Yeah.
double check.
You could just picture Richard III with his surfboard there, trotting down Palm Beach.
Oh dear.
John gossiping about Cash and Tim's altercation last week means that Rose starts to get wind, doesn't she, about the drama that's unfolding between the two of them. And she seems a bit concerned. Tim's getting suspicious that his glove box been trifled with. So everything's starting to unravel a bit. And not only is he sort of looking at friends on Facebook, but he's also looking at reviews of him as a professional, isn't he, online? And he comes across one by this Nerida person, and he messages her. They end up speaking, and he finds out that she is a previous client who he got into a romantic relation with. Plot twist, people, plot twist. So this is supposed to be enough for me to believe that, Eden shouldn't be with him. And I've got to say, Sophie, it's not working with me.
No.
That isn't enough evidence. We were talking about evidence a lot, weren't we, last week, about Tim being a bit shifty, but Cash is behaving in a way that he's not got the receipts.
No.
We have suspicion, but we've got nothing to go on, so you have to take it off face value. Yeah. And I don't think this is enough. I mean, Cash is being out of order, unethical, unprofessional, and they're just the nicer words, really, for how he's going about this. Yeah. He's breaking all sorts of rules. Finding out that Nerida got into a relationship with him, and it's just not enough for me. And no. I don't know about you. This is clutching on Cash's behalf.
It's absolutely clutching. I mean, if this is true, if this turns out to be true, that he had a relationship with Nerida, the worst thing that really we can say about Tim at that point is that he's unprofessional. He's, his moral ethics and all that sort of stuff, his professional ethics are not good. But how does that impact Eden? It doesn't make him bad for Eden. She's not his patient. Like, there's nothing there. And the only thing we can really say is that obviously he's had that conversation with Eden and said, it's not true. So the only thing we can say is that he's a liar. Because if it all turns out to be true and he's denied it, then he's a liar.
Because he denies. Yeah, you're right. He denies it, doesn't he? So then you're thinking, right, is he lying?
But that's all we've got. You know what I mean? That's all we've got. And the only thing that's making me think that maybe there's something to it is because she confronts him. So Cash obviously says to Eden, I think you need to know about this. This guy's wrong for you. He's slept with a patient before. And I was like, this has got nothing to do with you. You're reaching and whatever. But she went and confronted Tim, which was good. And she said, he's got all this information from this Nerida that she didn't say the name, actually, crucially. She said he's got some information about a past patient of yours that you're in a relationship with. And he said, is it Nerida? Yeah. And I thought, that's interesting, because without even blinking, he said her name, and it's the same person. So imagine how many people he must have counselled and, met over the years.
Yeah.
To nail it, like, it's that girl, it's got to be that person. made me
Well,
think,
there's
okay,
obviously a story.
there's something to it. But then he's obviously not filling the blanks in, because I'm thinking, from a professional point of view, patient doctor, I know he's not a doctor, but patient counsellor confidentiality, he shouldn't be saying what Nerida's problem was, what he treated her for. It's only Cash has only found her because she's filled in a public review or whatever, but apart from that, it should be private that she's even had counselling with this guy.
I know.
It's all a bit icky, but it's still not enough to make me go, Tim's a bad man,
No, I agree. And I really like the way that Eden's gone about this. You're right, like you say, it's really good that she went and spoke to Tim straight away. And you know what? They're a new thing. So she's got nothing to lose. Do you know what I mean? Like, listen, be straight with me, And let's face it, she's rebounding.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Let's call a spade a spade. Like,
she
this
was
isn't
engaged 5 minutes ago, so this isn't like the love of her life. This is just getting over Cash by getting under Tim, basically.
Absolutely. And I like that she threw Cash out as well. She went Switzerland, didn't she? When he turns up and says, "Oh," she was like, "Yeah, are you determined to ruin my entire life? Get out!" And she chucks him out the house. And I thought, don't give him the satisfaction of making him think that he's what got through to you.
No.
And like you say, then she's gone and confronted Tim. He's denied it, and then she's weighed up and made a judgment on her own mind, which I love, because so many times in soaps, women don't make up their own mind by themselves.
No.
They're always coerced into something. So I really love the way that's been written, I must say. And I think it's true to her character, actually. I think Eden is someone who's had to sort of get on and look after herself in life. And I think that she's doing the same thing here. So I'm really, really happy with how that played out.
Yeah, it's believable. Yeah,
it is. And obviously then she lets Tim back in bed. We get to see Tim running around the house with now on. Who's mad at that? Not me. Listen, do you believe Tim? Would you believe him in Eden's situation?
I don't know. I have trust issues anyway, so I don't know whether I would necessarily believe him. But there's no smoke without fire. What I'd be thinking is, okay, Cash has managed to find this Nerida girl. He's been able to name her without going, oh, was it Amanda? Oh, was it Bethany? Oh, was it, you know what I mean? He's said, was it Nerida immediately? That would have made me go, so what happened with her then? If you could name her as the one that said that she had a relationship with you, yet you saying you didn't have one, but you knew immediately who I was talking about. So that would make me sus. But like you say, you just have to weigh it up and just go with your gut feeling, don't you? And at the moment, I'm thinking, if I look at it, I am sus of Tim, but it's because I don't trust anyone, and that I'm trying to put that to one side. If I think about it black and white, this guy, all he's done is date someone, and he's been stalked and harassed by her ex all over the internet. He's phoned his sister. He's phoned, somebody that he used to be the therapist for. Like, at this stage, Tim's the victim here.
Yeah.
So yeah. I do have to sort of feel like I should be Team Tim, but there's just something stopping me from being Team Tim, and I don't know what it is.
Yeah. Your spidey senses. I agree. Yeah. I agree. I think if I was in Eden's shoes, I think I'd have had enough of it already by now, and I'd have told them both to rack off, to be honest. Exactly. It's too much drama. She's getting the band back together. She can focus on that. Get on with that. Do you know what I mean? That's probably where I'd be at. I'm glad that she made her own mind up. I think if I'm asking myself that question and asking, do I believe him? At this stage, I do, but I think like you, I'd want to know more. I'd want to know why. What is this Nerida all about? Yeah. Why is she come straight to your mind? What makes you think it's her? And you need to be honest. Now, obviously, confidentiality will come into it, but I think at this stage, he's going to then have to make a choice on whether he's going to tell me or not. Do you know what I mean? And if he doesn't want to open up and tell me about it, then maybe it's not for us this, and we'll just walk away now while it's while it's young.
Cut your losses.
That'd be where I'm at. I've got to say, I'm really, really, really cross with Cash this week, to the point of, I was messaging a listener earlier on going, I'm actually in disgust at him now, because what happens later in the week, on top of all this stuff going on, sneaking around in his civvies and printing, blimey. On top of all that, later in the week, after Tim's had enough and marched himself down to YCPD and basically assaulted a police officer, which I don't, but it was a good scene in the moment. And he's having this chat, this dressing down, shall we call it, by Rose, isn't he, in the interview room at the police station? And there's scenes like that going on with him and Rose having to send him home and stuff, littered throughout the latter parts of the week. And one of them sticks out to me, where she's like, "This isn't police business. You're using police resources, police time, blah 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 blah. This is, I'm standing you down." And he says, well, it's about his Felicity and his dead sister, and it's somewhat. I'm looking out for Eden because it just basically uses Felicity, and I just thought, what the hell?
Yeah.
I can't remember what he said now because I was so bowled over by it. Like,
he's been very
manipulative.
manipulative. Yeah, he's done that about himself, and like you say, he's used Flick as an excuse, like his dead sister. You know what I mean? He's used as an excuse, but he's also been really manipulative with Abby as well, like trying to get her and being like, "Oh, I just want to make sure that you're okay, and he shouldn't have treated you like this, Abby, and it's awful, and poor you."
Horrendous.
I'm like,
horrendous, Sophie.
This is awful. I mean, he's literally emotionally manipulating a young girl who's an addict. I mean, it's a really, really low look for Cash. Isn't it?
It is, and you can't defend it. You can even try and explain it about him not dealing with his grief properly.
Yeah.
And that's ended up with him doing this to his relationship and regretting it and all the rest of it.
There's reasons,
There's reasons, but you can't defend it, can you?
No,
what he's doing,
there's reasons, but there's no excuses. That's the thing, isn't it?
And where's this Cash come from? This is the Cash that 2 years ago we were here. Sophie saying all he does is get coffee
and go for a run.
Where's he come from?
Can I ask a question about one of his runs? So on Friday, first look episode, it looked like he was about to go on a run. Like, it looked like he came from his own house and he was about to go on a run just as Tim goes out to get him and Eden some food in the car. But he was already covered in sweat. And I was like, how is this?
No.
How is he?
Was he not running home? Did he come out of the ginnel?
Oh, was it? I thought he came out of the house.
No, I think he came out of the ginnel on the other side of John's.
Oh, there we go then. I was confused because I just looked up and I was
Mystery solved.
Why is he already sweaty? He's only been out the house 2 minutes.
No. He come from the ginnel.
Oh, there we go then. Okay. I thought we had a continuity thing.
No, the alleyway or whatever other word people say. It's a ginnel where I'm from.
Yeah, it's a ginnel.
Yeah. So he came from there. Yeah. So you're all good. And she caught him coming in from the ginnel. Yeah.
Okay, that's fine.
So, as beautiful as you find him, Sophie,
he is beautiful.
He's being a bit of a sod.
Oh, he's awful. Like, I can't defend him at all, but he is beautiful. That's all I can say. Yeah.
So, but this character, I'm not going to call it character assassination. That's lazy. But this character change, this side of him that's coming out since this dreadful grief he's experienced is a really interesting thing because we haven't seen it before. So even though we feel quite strongly and we're reacting quite, big to it, like, it's interesting all in it. I can't look away. It's gripping me at the same time because this is new territory for us and Cash. And
it's not making me cross. Like when Tane has changed personality, and I used to be a mega fan of Tane, and now I'm not I'm like,
hang on, get the book.
Get the book
because you're letting Cash off the hook for one reason only. Hang on.
No. I'm just saying. I still think Tane is a beautiful man, and I still like him as a person, but as a character. His development has made me really cross, and I don't enjoy watching him, and I get annoyed when I see him. I'm like, oh god, not you again. But I'm not there with Cash. Like, I don't like what Cash is doing. I can't defend what he's doing, but I'm still finding it really entertaining to watch, and I'm not getting
Yeah.
cross. He's not coming on the
Yeah.
screen. I'm going, oh, for God's sake. I'm going, oh God, where are we going with this? Like, what's going to
Yeah.
happen next?
But that's it, because we don't know this side of Cash. We don't know what he's
Yeah.
going to do next, and
Yeah.
that's what's keeping us gripped, isn't it? We're like, what is he
Yeah.
going to do now?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's quite exciting now, and it feels like after a couple of weeks of us being like, come on, feels like we're getting somewhere, you know.
Yeah.
And where we're going, it feels like it's going to be really uncomfortable. And as long as it all blows up and it's great telly, who cares? You know,
Exactly.
it's not real, is it?
No, it's very entertaining, I have to say. Very entertaining. Oh dear.
Right, Ruse met with the landlord of the pier of the bait shop, because she seems to do everything for anyone. And unfortunately, her Stewart charm doesn't work. The landlord's not budging, and Alf says, "That's it. I'll have to shut the bait shop." We don't say shit the bait shop. I'll have to shut the bait shop. But Rue's got an idea, and she's a journo now. She's writing articles for the Coastal News. Did you agree this? Because I did.
Hell no. No, I don't know.
We need to stop. We need to stop delegating HR HR things and who we've got on the books.
Yeah.
At first, when Alf sees the article, lots of Coastal News claxons in. By the way, we need to work out the next draw, because people are waking back up again to that. So Alf sees it, reads it. Now his first reaction's not that great, is it? But then we get this moment where he starts reading out loud, beautiful bit, and she says some lovely things actually. And then I was even getting on board then, thinking, do you know what? She's done a nice thing there, even though I thought she was interfering at first. But the online comments are not too good, are they, Sophie? They're getting a bit of online backlash.
This made me laugh because I was like, is this a nod to your say on the bay? It did feel like, you know, when I read the Facebook comments out and I say brace yourself, there's Facebook comments pending. It did feel a little bit like they were having a bit of a laugh with that, but you know, I don't know. Who knows?
Maybe I did like it because I felt seen as well. And maybe we're looking for it. Maybe it's a complete coincidence, but I did feel seen. I think I was on the Twitter that night as well. I think I even said, "Oh my God, they're reading Soap's comments."
It was yours down the bay, but it was Coastal News print edition.
Yeah, it was.
Wow.
It was. And if that's all they can do to acknowledge us, thank you. We'll take it.
They do paint us in a bad light though most of the time.
I know. So thankfully this was a good positive one. Maybe they heard our complaints last time.
We're not terrible people, we promise.
We just struggle separating fact and fiction. That's not a crime, is it?
Why would you want to live in the real world right now? It's a shit show, you know.
Absolutely, yeah. Tips on the bay any day.
Live in the TV, yeah, please.
So Struth, Alf's gonna have to shut the bait shop, save the bait shop. You know, half the town's against him. They're trolling him online, and John expects Rue to interfere and do a usual thing and do something about it. And Rue's a bit like, you need to pick your fight, John. You need to choose when to fight and when to let go. And she's decided she can't be arsed this time, because that's not normally like her. She's normally right in there, isn't she? Up front and centre. So for her own father, she can't be asked. So she's leaving him to it.
Not in the mood.
No. So it ends up being John that has to take on Rue's good work. And he goes and sees him in the office one night, doesn't he? And he doesn't want to speak. But Alf's had it gutful. He don't want to speak to him. He's stressed out. You know, you have to remember, Alf was really depressed and going in on himself before this storyline kicked off. And do not forget that. Like, that's not gone anywhere, has it? And I'm going to keep reminding our listeners, don't park that, because that's all going to have an influence here. I'm sure of it. And John speaks to him and says, "This isn't like you, Alf. You know, you stand here and stand up for everybody else in this town. When are you going to stick up for yourself? And I thought, bloody hell, John. Straight to the top of the class. Because I thought, we're in good hands if John's the new father of the Bay at some point with things like that. Well done. It was a glorious, really simple, glorious scene with two classic characters like home and away royalty, real simple dialogue, and you could hear a pin drop, you know. And I think it's that connection we have with somebody like Alf. We've all got our own personal reasons and our personal collections, but you know, it's you call him granddad, don't you? But it's that he feels like a member of the family when you've watched this show for so long, that and someone's able to influence him. It's just it just was so poignant.
It got me in the feels, that scene. It was the whole thing. It was watching him, you know, he was looking at the newspaper that obviously his daughter's written, and all this article is really, really lovely, and he was obviously feeling the feels of that because Rue's written something really, really lovely about him. And then him almost being embarrassed that he's been caught looking at it by Palmer, and he stuffs it in the bin. And I just thought, so Mr. Stewart, you know, like, oh, I don't care about this, shove it in the bin. And I was like, anyone can see that this means so much to you, that she's done this and that she's written all this stuff about you. And then to have Palmer then also notice, you know, don't stuff it in the bin. Like, stand up for yourself, mate. Come on, you do it for anybody else. Why don't you do it for yourself? And it's what happened with the recent issue that he's had with Brie. You know, everybody else has been fuming on his behalf, and you know, Marilyn's gone for Brie and Rue's gone for Brie. And when he got the opportunity to talk to Brie, he was just really nice. And I thought, if it was someone else, if Rue had been in that situation and Brie's negligence or inaction or whatever you want to call it had meant that Rue had nearly died and Levi had to step in, Alf would be fuming.
Yeah, he'd have gone in all guns blazing, wouldn't he?
He would, but it's him because it's himself. He takes it on the chin and he goes like, "Oh, okay," like, So I'm really glad we had that scene, and it did give me like a lump in the throat.
Yeah, I got goosebumps. You know, I thought that was a moment then. You know, and I know that sounds corny, but that was a moment.
Yeah.
You're not going to let these keyboard cowards get away with it. No, we're not. No, we're not. But I think it's happening to this change in Mr. Stewart we've had recently. You know, that, you know, sitting welling up over the newspaper in the office of late of an evening isn't the Mr. Stewart that we know and love. And I think that's what we're supposed to take from that scene. He's had to have an external influence. John Bloomin' Palmer, of all people, his arch nemesis. Talk him round, you know. I just thought it was really good. I just thought it was chef's kiss. So this puts a spring in his step, and now he's looking at real estate. He's looking for a new place to rent for the bait shop. So, and I like this because it means he's energized again. He's less defeatist. He's now inquiring about property. Maz, though, she thinks it's a bit of an end of an era. He won't be here popping in for his cup of tea in his camping mug. And Leah's like, yeah, but it's the start of a new one. So it feels like, you know, we're on the foot of change, aren't we? And we're riding the crest. And that with the whole, we're having a surf club gala. Like, I just feel like it's 2003 again. And I quite like it. This whole this story centered around the surf club, the beating heart, you could argue, of the community. What is there not to love? It's a simple story. It's not going to be high stakes, but it's going to be gripping. And emotional, and we're going to feel, and we're going to go with it, and we're going to love it. He's struggling to find somewhere, though, isn't he, Sophie? He's struggling to find the right place. I'm imagining this is as a result of the pier being rebuilt in Palm Beach. We've spoken about that last year, didn't we? About potentially having a new diner and whatnot. We can't use the location anymore, and the diner is obviously a set on the soundstage in the studio, the indoor bit, so that's quite easy to explain away, isn't it? But the bait shop isn't a studio set. It was like it was there in real life outside at Palm Beach. So if they can't film at it, they're going to have to move it, aren't they?
Yeah. It wasn't there when we went in November, was it? Because
No.
where the bait shop used to be, it's just a pier with a restaurant attached to it now, isn't it? So
Yeah,
we can't even have an external shot of the bait shop. It's just not even there. So
it's not there. Yeah.
no.
And it's not, like I say, not like the diner where inside it's actually in the studio in the city.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you can just, So potential locations for this bait shop, I don't know. Do you? Are we gonna?
I'm confused about this because tonight on Friday's first look episode, we were back in the caravan park, or what looked like the caravan park. I don't know whether it was just a caravan and some tents in a grassy place just to make it look like the caravan park.
Yeah.
But it made me think, right, why are we here? Like, why? Because we haven't been in the caravan park for ages.
No.
And then all of a sudden on Friday, he's walking through the caravan park thinking about where to put the bait shop. And I thought, well, yeah, he owns all this land and he owns that big house and he owns all the grounds that are on that big house, which has got loads of space. How near is the caravan park to where the surf club is?
I knew you were going to ask that question, and I've got my map of Summer Bay right here. Right.
Good.
In the universe, it's very close.
Is it?
But yes, but I suspect there's even a beach path leading from the caravan park. However, I suspect the real life filming location is like hours away.
But that doesn't matter, does it? If in
No.
the show the caravan park is right next to the beach, then why can't we have it on the caravan park?
Yes, that
Because
would make sense. He would have no rent to pay. He owns the joint.
Exactly. He just needs to whack up a shack. How hard is that?
Whack a shack.
Whack a shack on there, and Bob's your uncle.
I'm sorry.
What? Whack a shack.
Nothing. I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to do it.
I don't know what you mean.
No,
Anyway.
and for me personally, I feel like that's the best scenario. No rent,
Exactly.
do it, and also like there are tourists coming through. You could sell fishing trips,
Yeah.
easy. You'll easily sell his bait at the caravan park.
You'd think so, wouldn't you?
Mm.
But then, because he's not thought of it, because I was saying this to Mr. David on Twitter, I was like, because he's not thought of this idea, and it seems so obvious to me now that I've seen him wandering through the caravan park, why don't you have it there? I was thinking there's got to be a reason why, but I can't think of one, apart from the fact that maybe it's supposed to be too far away from where you'd need, because if you've run out of bait, to run to the bait shop and it's in the caravan park, is that just a bit too far than going to where it was on the pier?
Yeah, because it was in a perfect location, wasn't it? Let's face
it. Yeah.
Bit of behind the scenes info for you as well from friend of the pod, Marty. You remember he told us a while back they couldn't film at the caravan park for ages because it flooded.
Yes, yeah.
So maybe it's dried out now and we can go back, because we do miss it. It's iconic, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
We'll see. Maybe this time next week we'll know where the bait shop's going to be. It'd be nice if it's a set and it's a new one, because that'd be cool.
Yeah.
New set. Xander this week. Xander. He needs time off work. You'll remember this placement he needs to do to pass his course, and or his module or whatever it is. Mac has been asking about, and she's been tasked with finding it. She does find it. She finds him a placement. Somebody else has fallen through on one last minute. It sounds great. Perfect. All the requirements that he needs. Only snag is typical soap. It's in exactly 2 days. So he's got to go now, and he's got to up and leave, and he's a bit like, ooh. And Dana's like, you'll be great, go for it, it's an hour flight. And he's like, well, actually, I'm going to drive, so I've got a car. And you're like, right, so it's 2-day drive. But Dana is like telling him to go for it, and she's like, shit, like, I've not even had time to process this. My boyfriend's going. And I felt for the poor lass here. It doesn't take much as president of the Dana fan club, but I felt for her, because what could she say? Because she couldn't be unsupportive and have his thing fall through. Why he couldn't do his placement at a local business? So I don't know. But there we go. This is where we're at. unwaveringly, she tells him, go for it. She embraces him, kisses him goodbye. She drives off and waves into the sunset. The first time he tells her he loves her, he's jumping in a car and driving to Melbourne. What a slap in the face.
It was a bit, wasn't it?
Of all places. Yeah.
Yeah, the Birmingham of Australia. Yeah.
Catch you on the flip side. It was emotional, actually, in the end. And I said to you last week on First Look, I'm going to miss Xander. I'm gutted about this. This was the couple that could have been, that should have been, that never will be. And I'm a bit upset. What about you?
I'll be honest with you.
Mm.
I'll be honest with you. I don't know whether I'll still remember him in 2 weeks' time, but I'm not being vile. He's just not. I enjoy scenes with him when he's on screen. I enjoy scenes with him, but I don't ever sit there thinking, oh, I hope the next scene is Xander, or where's Xander today? Like, if he's not in an episode.
Yeah, that's true. He just sort of appears and you go, oh, Xander.
Yeah, I'm not thinking, oh, Xander's not been on it for a couple of days. Where is he? I don't really think of him that much, even though I don't dislike the character. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I don't know. It sounds way more harsh than I mean it to be, because I've enjoyed his scenes. I think he's been really good in Salt. I've enjoyed him as a character much more since, he quit his paramedic job and he got that job in Salt, and he's got those scenes with Mac, and obviously now that he's with Dana, I do like the fact that he's been fleshed out, and I do think he's been an important character for a lot of the other characters on the show. There's still something in my brain that easily forgets him.
Yeah, it's
weird.
Because his character is a supporting role, isn't it? He's not had his own upfront and center main character storyline. He's the only thing that sticks out in my mind is like, when the ambulance got
the drugs.
And his work friend got shot, and he went through the sort of repercussions of that, didn't he, mentally? Angry music in the earphones. So that's the only real story that sticks out to me as anything worth note. Other than that, he has supported everybody else's stories. Now, I'm not saying this as a derogative way, same sentiment as you've just explained. I think putting him in Salt meant that he had to play that supportive role. He had to be the sounding board for people turning up and demanding a neat vodka, or you know what I mean? Like, and I think he and those roles are so pivotal in a soap. And I've banged this drum a lot about Xander, that I think he did it really well and he played a really good job. He just didn't have enough going on.
No, I think that's maybe it.
Maybe that was deliberate, because this was coming. I mean, he's going for 6 weeks, right? But like, it sounds final. Like, he's literally going on a walk and talk with Rose, reminiscing about things. He's telling his girlfriend Dana that he loves her for the first time ever, whilst looking into her eyes as if it's a long goodbye. Packing up his entire life in his car and driving to Melbourne. I feel like he's not coming back, Sophie, and I feel like work placements often turn into job offers, and I feel like he's having a backdoor exit here. This is like when I went to work from home and then handed my notice to him.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I know. And if it is a permanent exit, then it feels a little bit flat, because like there's key people missing. I mean, obviously Irene's not even in the show at the moment, and Irene was a big part of his story when he first came in, and she kind of took him and Rose under her wing, didn't she, at the beginning? Because she was obviously living with Jasmine, who was their half sister and all that sort of stuff. So not having Irene there on the show when he leaves has been a bit strange. It was very low. If it is a permanent exit, it's very low key, isn't it? It was just his sister and his girlfriend. There was, he's made other friends on the show, but they've not really been involved in this exit. So I don't know what to think.
There was no send-off party at Sol, or
no, which makes me think it's not a permanent exit. So all the signs in terms of the show point to him coming back in 6 weeks, because you wouldn't have a big song and dance with someone that's just going away for 6 weeks. You'd go, have a nice trip, see you in 6 weeks, can't wait to hear about it, wouldn't you? You wouldn't have a big party and a big send off and everybody waving you off, because that would be overkill. But then there's rumours flying around that it's not a temporary exit and it is a permanent exit and all. And I think if it is, and they knew that when they wrote this, then it's very low key.
Well, that's another thing. Did he go on an extended break? The actor, I mean, Luke,
Yeah.
and then it, not come back when he should have done, or is there a
Yeah.
story behind the scenes that means things have
Yeah.
had to change? I don't know, but
Mm.
yeah, it has been very. If you missed that episode, you'd think he was still there. You'd be waiting for him to turn up.
Yeah. Yeah.
And do you know what? You raise a really, really good point about Irene. She's going to have the fright of her life when she gets out of rehab. She's going to have Xander gone and a baby in her house. She's not going to know what the hell's going on.
That's true. Yeah.
And crucially now, we're left with Rose, Billy No Mates, who's shouting at Cash, but then has nobody around her anymore, and he's trying to take lasagna to Cash. After shouting at him and then being sent home with lasagna on her own. Rose is now feeling like a bit of a loose end. And that sort of, for me, watching this show for ages puts a timer on her head in terms of departure. So that's one to watch. That Yabby Creek police station's feeling a bit crowded. That's all I'll say.
There was another copper. There was another copper this week with a line. Did you see him?
Oh yeah, cute copper extra. Yeah.
Mr. Snitchy Snitcherson, who was like, "Oh, I just saw Cash doing this."
Yeah, in his civvies printing.
Interesting.
Goody two shoes after his job.
I didn't like him. I was like, I know he's doing the wrong thing, but running off
Yeah.
to mummy, Cash is doing something naughty.
He must be a constable. He's after senior constable, you see.
Definitely. He wants an extra stripe on that shoulder. Yeah.
He does.
Yeah.
We've got time just to mention, but I know this is like a very brief thing that happened right at the end of Friday's episode. The pictures are in, you'll remember, for Manta Ray Board's new marketing campaign. We're doing this huge gala. We've got this massive marketing thing. Kirby and Marley, they've been working really, really hard on this, haven't they? To be fair to them, and we haven't really covered it on the pod because there's been just other stories going on. But this whole marketing thing, they did this photo shoot, didn't they? And they are back and not looking too good. And it looks like Kirby has been beyond airbrushed on these. From what little we saw, it was a very brief scene, wasn't it, of looking at the promo shots.
Yeah.
And Marley says, they've made you whiter. And she's like, and they've made her thinner. But they've not touched Marley. Marley looks fine, but she looks completely different. Interesting, because that's not what I expected at all.
No.
First look last week, you and I were looking at it thinking internet trolls. Yeah, that's a story. That's an issue thing, isn't it, that people can learn from.
Yeah.
I wasn't. This is different, and I like that it's different, and I was shocked by it actually, and I like that I'm shocked by it. What's your initial gut reaction?
Yeah, I mean, it may be uncomfortable, so it's going to be a good storyline if it makes you feel uncomfortable, because it was. I don't know whether I would have noticed so much if she hadn't pointed it out, because it was just like just a picture, and I didn't really analyze it that much. I was just like, oh yeah, the picture that they took on the beach, and it wasn't until she put the other one in front of it and said, look, I look different. Compare the two. My skin's lighter, and they've obviously done something to make her look thinner. Not drastically, but enough for her to notice.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, oh god, and then it makes you feel uncomfortable, because obviously there's the whole body issues and social media and things being altered and how that makes young people feel. And then obviously all of Kirby's very confident, very body confident character. And then how's this going to have a knock-on effect on her? You know, is this going to start to mentally affect her? Are we going to start to see Kirby, you know, suffering from mental health, you know, episodes on the back of this? Because now, you know, she's never questioned this before, but now she's going to be thinking, well, okay, someone sat down and looked at this photo of me and gone, okay, well, there's problems with this and I can fix it. And it's, you know, she can't hold that standard in real life. So what she's seeing on these photos and then what she's seeing in the mirror are going to be two different things, and that's going to mess with your mind, isn't it? So
it
I
is,
don't know.
but also it's such an important thing for a show like this to highlight. I'm so proud that it's this and not the other. We've seen internet trolls in storylines before.
Yeah.
So that's obviously where we went when we read First Look last week. I'm so glad that I was shocked in like the best possible way you could be shocked by this, because I think people should be shocked. Like, this is sexism, racism, all rolled into one. Like, and it's crucially, I mean, we this was like a not even a 60-second scene. So we're not even at the start of this storyline. This is like a whoa, shit, end of the week. Like, now we've got to wait till Monday, right? But I'm like, whoa, already we've got all this information about they've not they've not touched Marley. Like, Marley looks his natural self, and the whole point of this photo shoot was they were going for normal looking people, surfers who were who they want to be ambassadors for the brand. Genuine, authentic. Them, you know, it's their that's where they work. It's his business. But the fact that they haven't done it to him, but they've done it to her, says a lot about the industry, a lot about what women have to put up with, and what the expectation of a woman is in the modeling world compared to a man. There's so much stuff here to unpack, and I'm really looking forward to it. And I'm so proud the show is going there, actually.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. Like you say, it's something we've not seen before that I can recall. So. And it's a very modern topic, isn't it? I mean, it's this whole, you know, portraying people differently online to how they look in real life, whether it's by their own, because we know there's influencers on social media that put photos on of themselves that don't look, you know, anything like what they really look like in real life. So there's people out there that obviously think that they have to do that to look a certain way to I don't know, attract likes or comments or whatever. But then when this is being done to you and you're not, you know, that's a whole different dimension, isn't it? It's something that's being done to your body that you are not consenting to.
Yeah.
It's I mean, it's really interesting and really, like I say, modern.
Yeah. And I'm looking forward to seeing where this goes.
Yeah, definitely. Right, Si, it's time to find out what people thought about all the drama that happened last week in the Bay. Are they Team Tim or are they Team Cash? That is the question.
Oh, is that a divide? Is that a divide that's happening? Is that a thing?
No, but I did ask the question on social media.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah.
I tried to find out. I have got some comments.
I'm going to have to decide whose team I'm on. I'm definitely not on Cash at the minute, you know, and I'm fickle. No. I'll jump teams, I'll jump ship.
Yeah. I'll tell you what they say in a moment.
Okay.
But as you know, and as regular listeners know, for this segment, I spend some time digging through social medias, reading comments and reactions from people who've watched the show this week, and then I read them out because this is your Say on the Bay.
Woo!
Well, hey, so we're also on social media. That's what I need to say next. I was trying to think what the next line was. We're also on social media. So Coastal News Podcast at Coastal News Pod is our handle on most things: Facebook, Instagram, Threads, YouTube, Twitter, Blue Sky, etc., etc. And if you are new here, you might not know that we do a tweet along with the show from 6:30 till 7, Monday to Friday, because we watch the show on 5-star here in the UK. And what we do is we jump on X or Twitter or whatever you want. I still call it Twitter. And we use the Home and Away UK hashtag. So hashtag Home and Away UK. And we talk about what's happening on the show live as we're watching it. And there's a group of people on there every night that's talking about the show. So get on it, basically. Get on it.
Come along. Yeah.
And if you don't do social medias or you can't join the tweet along because maybe you watch on the My5 app or something later on in the day, you can email us. So you can email us, and the email address is coastalnewspod@gmail.com. So feel free to spam Si as much as you like on the email address. We do have an email, Si, as you already know.
Woohoo.
Hello,
Yeah.
Jacob. Jacob has emailed us again. Uru, Jacob.
Only me.
Only me just doing this now. Jacob says, Si and Soph, which I like the way he starts his email. Si and Soph, I hope you've got your waterproofs on, because I don't want you wetting yourselves at my email. We did titter at your email last week. So yes, I don't have my waterproofs on. Thankfully, I haven't got to that stage in life where I
No, but
need
she's
them.
got a tenner in.
No, I don't even need that. Don't even need that, doll. I'm raw dogging it, you know? As the kids say. Oh dear. Jacob says, I trust you are having a better week than Tim. Yes, I think we can say we are.
I think so. Yeah. My glove box hasn't been trifled through yet.
No, sadly mine's untouched as well. Yeah. He's I knew you were gonna laugh at that. I knew it was gonna make me laugh. Jacob says, I'd like to take the opportunity to thank you notes, for laughing at my jokes in last week's pod. My current issue, he's got a current issue, we need to know about this. Current issue is that his mate, Benji Peng, hi Benji Peng, that's a very interesting name. Benji Peng doesn't appreciate Jacob's jokes and hardly ever laughs. Wow.
Benji Peng, what? Jacob's hilarious.
Jacob is hilarious. Although I did play your reaction to him and he did laugh at that. So Benji Peng laughed at us laughing at Jacob last week, but he did not laugh at Jacob himself.
Oh God, the thought of someone playing us.
It does make you want to cringe. But we appreciate it. And hi,
we
Benji
do,
Peng.
and we're glad as a team, as a collective, we got that laugh for you.
Yes.
There you go.
Exactly. So via us, Benji Peng did laugh at you, Jacob. It's all fine. Yeah, there we go. Don't know what to say. It's ironic that you said RoboCop has gone rogue, he says, as Rogue City is the title of the RoboCop console game. Did not know that.
He's keeping us in check with the gamers here.
Yeah, we sound way cool when we read out Jacob's email. We sound down with the kids and everything.
The closest we get to gaming, Jacob, is like our other arms are both doing it now while we're recording a podcast.
Yeah. I am a console widow, so you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. It may appear that he's actually onto something here with Suspicious Tim. Is he though? I'm still on the fence with whether he's onto something with Suspicious Tim. I'm not convinced of this Nerida thing. Yeah.
I don't know, you know. I don't. Is Nerida lying? Is Tim lying? I'm so confused.
So confusing. We've got a couple of questions on this topic from Jacob. Jacob said, could this be the start of Cash and Eden reuniting? Has Tim been abusing his counselor position and dating or papa fuckering his patients? I'm sure it's fucking peppering, but I love it. I love it. I guess he says, I guess we'll find out soon. Yeah, I guess we will.
Yeah. Is it the start? Should we try and answer them? Is it the start of them getting back together? I don't see it. Do you?
No,
I think they couldn't be further apart right now.
If that's the start, it's a very long road.
Yeah.
Very long. Yeah. I think.
Yeah. She's going to need some chicken puffs on the way.
Mm-hmm.
What was the second question?
Has Tim been abusing his counselor position and dating or papa fuckering his patients?
It sounds like he could have done, because like you said on the main pod, there's no smoke without fire. But I am like losing my mind here now. I don't know what to believe. I don't know who's telling the truth. And I suppose that's the point, isn't it?
Yeah, that is the point. Yes. Okay, well, we're moving on from Tim and RoboCop now, because Jacob also wants to talk about Remy and Florence Nightingale. I love Jacob's nicknames. I'm guessing Florence Nightingale is Brie. It must be Brie. So
only by name, though. You know, by reputation, I don't think she's a Florence Nightingale.
No, I think it's probably a
Mm.
search on Florence Nightingale, but there we go.
Mm.
For as long as Remy has his millions of dollars, Florence Nightingale ain't going to be returning to work. Yeah.
Well, you'd think not, wouldn't you? But she had a phone call, someone in the back in this week, Jacob.
And she's talking about whether to take more leave or, whatever, wasn't she? Yeah.
I don't
Yes.
think this is as much money, especially as he's telling everyone he's going to give them a share of it. He's not got as much money as we think.
It's going to go down significantly when he starts to give it out, isn't it? So.
Yeah, and he's already gone out for caviar, and he said he was going to do good things with this money, and then all he's done is spap it up the wall.
Give him some time. It's only been a couple of days. Yeah. I don't know. Well, Jacob's got an idea for what he can do with his money. He says, I reckon Remy should buy Mr. Stewart's bait shop and rent it to him at the current rate. Yeah,
Well,
fair income.
Yeah, and what a coincidence that Alf needs property and somebody else in town has just come into a load of money.
It is coincidental.
Could be looking for an investment opportunity, couldn't he? Nice little earner. That'll keep the band ticking over with the rent money.
True. Yeah.
Absolutely. What a coincidence.
What a coincidence. And then another excellent nickname for a cast member. We've got Sir Alan Sugar has left the bay for 6 weeks. I think you might know who that is.
That'll be Xander because of the business course, yeah.
Yes. So Jacob says, whatever is Dana going to do? Harper is obsessed with the Incredible Hulk and seems to have forgotten that she has a sister. So much for keeping her involved in the pregnancy. It's true.
Yeah, I'm a bit worried for Dana, because that's happened now. Boyfriend's out of town, sister's sort of sidelined her, and frozen her out of the pregnancy, and she's now got this, she's now got the demigod to play with.
Yeah.
I'm a bit worried about Dana,
Yeah. Keep an eye on her, definitely.
The fact that Ali told us this is the year of Dana tells me something's coming on. Do you know what I mean?
She's had really big storyline. I mean, she had a huge storyline when she came into the show. So we've had big storylines with her. But you're right. At the moment, it feels like it's all sort of fizzling off, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I have to keep an eye on that. But thank you for your email, Jacob. That was great. I love it.
Thank you. Thank you. Keep them coming.
Keep
as
them
always.
coming. So
don't do anything we wouldn't do, including Papa Fuckery.
I was going to say that list isn't very long, is it? Come on. Right. What about social media then? So let's start with Tim, Eden, and Cash and that car crash of a triangle that we've got going on. So I did ask on social media because personally I'm very confused. I don't really know who I'm supposed to be supporting. I don't know whether I'm Team Tim or Team Cash. I feel like I should be Team Tim, but I'm struggling to get on board with him just because I feel sus. So I thought let's ask the people. What do they think?
Yeah.
So Tweety Tie says Cash is annoying, but actually don't like Tim, even if he is a creepy weirdo. So not sure. Yeah, and that's how I feel. It's like I don't know whether I like Tim, but it doesn't mean that he's a bad person. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Do you know what? I'm glad we're not the only people feeling conflicted. That tweet there is alluding to the fact that we're supposed to be backing somebody, but none of us can decide who to back. And I think that's an interesting way to portray this story, all I can say to that is, Cash is annoying. I think it's beyond annoying. I think it's out of order. I think it's rude. I think it's unprofessional. I think he's crossed many a line this week. And I think, crucially, he needs help that he's not getting. This isn't the answer. This vendetta, this self-pity, this is all his own doing. This is all a product of his own actions.
Yes.
And he's not listening, is he?
No.
And it's infuriating.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it is. And Tweety Tie says, I'm going to trust my suspicions. I don't like Tim regardless, even if it turns out that he's a really good guy. So, yeah.
so So he's not getting a look in, really, is he?
He's not
Tweety?
really getting a chance yet.
No.
I mean, we've got time. He might turn things around. He might
Yeah.
make people. We're always sus of newcomers anyway, so we've got
Yeah,
time
that's
to turn
true.
it around.
Yeah.
Jamie is thoroughly more confident in being Team Tim because we've got Team Tim 100%. Even if he screwed over Abs to be with Eden, Cash is being an irrational stalker. So there's no blurred lines there with Jamie. He knows he's Team Tim.
Feeling quite strongly
Yeah.
at Cash's behaviour. And I can't blame Jamie for coming down that way, to be honest with you. After this week, anyway, in the context of this week, the episodes that have gone out this week.
Yeah.
It's hard not to see it that way.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is interesting. Oh God, this is fascinating.
It is. And Sarah, 30th floor, says Team Cash, however crazy he's being, he's not creepy Timothy. So we've got an entirely different point of view here.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And again, that alludes to that backdrop, doesn't it, of the suspicious around a new person and Tim. And...
Yeah. And I quite like what Michelle said. Michelle chipped in as well on Twitter and said, I'm team they both hotties. I agree. Yeah, that's a good team. I want to be on that team.
There's worse teams to be on, Michelle.
Exactly. I think it's a good one to point out as well, because Julie Smith on Twitter, hi Julie, regular tweeter. Julie's pointed out that Eden's character is being really believable in the storyline, the way that she's portraying, the story. She's saying, she's doing a good job, basically, which I think is really important to sort of acknowledge, because, it's easy to read out flippant comments and to read out stuff that we're not enjoying, but calling out stuff where we're enjoying the portrayal is really important as well. So I think it's a standalone thing, but yeah.
Eden and so it's Steph who plays Eden and Nick who plays Cash have carried a lot of it since Felicity's death for me. I just think they've been phenomenal, and I don't think Felicity's death and aftermath would have been so impactful if it wasn't for their performance. Just cast your mind back to her funeral. They just have knocked this out of the park, and it deserves all the accolades possible. Give them all the Logies, give them everything, get them the adulation they deserve for this performance, because for me, I think they have been superb. They're the best things on the show for me at the moment in terms of like what they're bringing to the table at the minute in performance.
Yeah.
God, that was a statement, but I'm going to stick by it for now.
No, I think it's good to. That's why I wanted to include Julie's tweet, because I think it's good to shout out when we're enjoying something. It's much easier to say when we're not enjoying something, but when we are, it's important to say it. So
yeah, and obviously you can agree and disagree with the character, but the actors playing it, you've got to give credit where it's due, and do you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. Yes. I then went over to have a look at what Facebook thought of Cash and Tim.
yeah, I'm sitting up. Go on.
So, some really good comments on Facebook. So we had Julie, first of all, who says, that Cash, and you can tell the tone by just that, can't you? That Cash is getting ridiculous. Now he's the one that broke up with Eden, and she's with someone else. He's causing trouble. He should have left when he had that job offer. He's being a total nuisance. And then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 angry emojis.
God.
Yeah. And that got a lot of likes as well from Julie's comment.
He's definitely changed, hasn't he?
Definitely changed. One of the people that replied to Julie is the legendary Pauline from Facebook.
Oh.
So let's read Pauline. Not in caps as well. This is all not in caps, so she's not shouting.
All right. She's
still
back on her meds.
Still animated. Still animated. Pauline says he should run a mile. She hooks up so quickly. It is the driving lack of trust, the supposed revealing your entire life story of self in a first date sort of situation. ... Everything is her running the show. ... The neediness is never ending, never really satisfied, ... always moaning about it. It's not my idea of a loving relationship, ... He needs to calm down. I don't really know what she's trying to say, but I think it's about Eden and the fact that
she's not putting up and shutting up.
It feels a bit like she's saying that. Yeah.
Pauline, you're from another time, gal.
But we love you. We love your comments.
Yeah,
love
keep
it.
them coming, but God.
Not sure we agree, but it's interesting to see someone else's point of view.
Yeah,
Definitely.
but I'm not gonna retort.
Oh, I thought I was gonna get you. Then. Okay, I'll keep trying. Kay on Facebook says Cash needs to stop acting like an idiot. It's cringing having to watch him. Ooh, cringing.
Oh,
I'm not cringing. I'm finding him awful, but I'm also being like, okay, I want to see where we're going to go with this. How
you're
bad is it?
saying uncomfortable, aren't you? Like
it's not even that. It's like I know he's being a moron, but I want to see how much of a moron he can be. I want to see him escalate. I want to see him get completely unhinged because it is entertaining.
It is, and I like I said earlier, and I'll stand by it. We've never seen Cash be like this before. So
yeah,
like, I'm braced for the unexpected. I'm like, what's going to happen next? You know,
exactly. Yeah.
And I think that it is a gripping place to be. As annoying as and it's supposed to be, like, this is the storyline, isn't it?
Yeah.
We're supposed to invoke a reaction from us, and I'm glad it is.
Yeah, definitely. Samantha on Facebook says, I'm with Cash. Tim is creepy.
Ooh.
Yeah. Helen says, I don't trust him at all.
Everyone's sus, aren't they? He's done nothing wrong as far as we're aware.
Done nothing, bless him.
I know.
What if he does turn out to be like just a normal guy, just getting victimized? We're going to feel bad for him, aren't we?
I bet they don't on Facebook. But yeah.
Probably not. And then Sophie, not me, on Facebook says, Cash is doing my head in. Eden literally tried to fight for him. She tried really hard, but all he kept doing was pushing her away.
I must say, Eden is coming out of this smelling of roses so far. And a lot of people have struggled with Eden in recent, in the past, haven't they?
Yeah, they have.
That's a very interesting comment, because you were on here 6 months ago, constant like, can't stand Eden, can't stick Eden.
Yeah,
comment after comment,
and some of the comments I wouldn't read out. They got quite personal, so I didn't read out a lot of the Eden comments on social media. I think we talked about them off air, but I wasn't going to include them in this because I just think some comments are not for sharing.
No, exactly. Isn't this an interesting turn of events, though?
Yeah, it is, definitely. Yeah. Yes. Interesting. So there are people that are definitely Team Cash and there are people that are definitely Team Tim, but I think there's a lot of middle ground as well where we're not really sure.
I was on, we mentioned it last week. I was on another podcast, Pop Goes the Tam Tam, talking about home and away couples, and we got into sort of a few sidetracks, on that episode, and we said on there, home and away is at its best when it's divisive, and I think that is so true. And some of the best storylines, like this one, where people are picking a side and getting divisive about it, are the best ones. And I think that's where this show thrives, when we're split and we're arguing about it. Yeah, it's
more interesting, isn't it, to hear someone else's point of view, and then sometimes you change your mind and you go, actually, they've got a good point, and I didn't see it that way.
Yeah. How satisfying is it when one of us wins one or the other over? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's true.
That's what creates an amazing, great discussion.
The day you win me over Marley, I'm never going to hear the end of it. So it's not. I'm not there yet.
I'm going to say you're already resigning to that being a possibility. I see. Interesting.
I told Mr. David the other day that the idea of you winning me round keeps me up at night. Like I have nightmares thinking about it. So I know
Honestly,
it's going to happen.
I think he's way better than he used to be. Anyway,
Really?
I've got time. Yeah.
Mm, I
Yeah,
don't see it.
and now
I
he's
don't
getting
see it.
now potentially that he's going to be embroiled in this very important storyline.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, maybe that will change my opinion of
Mm.
him. I don't know. We'll see. Depends how well he supports Kirby, because yeah, he wasn't looking that supportive the other day. It's like, oh yeah, your skin's lighter. I was like,
Oh come on! Oh come on! It was the cliffhanger scene. Give him a chance.
all right, Marley lover, Jesus, God. All right, Xander. Changing the
Xander.
topic.
Oh yeah.
Changing the topic
Quickly.
entirely. Before we start kicking off. It's all kicking off.
We're
Should we
going to
talk
be
about
like Cash and Tim in the street. Yeah, go on. Yeah.
get a restraining order?
Ivy Olav.
Come at me with your Marley crap. Anyway,
Excuse me.
Xander. That's the word on the street. Let's go with it.
Yeah.
Yes. Let's talk about Xander. So Sarah on Twitter says, I don't know how to feel about Xander's blasé departure. Only 3 people are going to miss him in the Bay. And this, I think, this comes from a backdrop of as a lot of people assuming it's permanent and it's a permanent departure. And we still don't really know. Like we were braced
It's
for a
weird,
permanent.
isn't it? Yeah.
It's just not feeling permanent. So it was a very blasé departure, but if it is a temporary exit for 6 weeks, it's very fitting. If it's a permanent departure, it was very blasé. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know what to make of it.
It's weird. There's a different message in the storyline to around the
What's
show
online?
in real life.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which I don't know. I suppose, I mean, this was all sort of happening the tail end of last year in Australia. I suppose if I try and put myself in a place where I'm not seeing things online as much, and I'm taking it at face value, he's going for 6 weeks and he'll be back in a few weeks. He'll be back before it's like Irene. We know when Irene went off to rehab, none of us were thinking this is it.
No. Exactly.
She's been gone longer than that now, hasn't she?
She's been gone since October, was it? Or was it before? No, it was longer than that. No, it was longer than that. It's been a long time.
Months ago.
Yeah. Was it last summer?
Easy. I'd have to look it up.
Yeah.
But it's been months.
It's been a long time. Yeah.
And we weren't saying this about her, were we?
No, because we knew she was coming back. So yeah. And it was
Something
just
feels
John.
Different.
It was just John dropping her off. Do you remember? She said, "Can you give me a lift?" And he said, "Yeah." And that was it. There wasn't any big goodbye. You know what I mean? Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm not sure either way. Because like you, I haven't been digging through the news, so I don't know whether it's permanent or not. Well, I've only seen people talking about it on the hashtag, and that's it. So
yeah.
I don't know. Emma on Twitter, Emma Dale. Not sure if that's your real name or just a pun. I'm not sure. Emma Dale says, "Good pun for a soap fan." Yeah, definitely. She says, "I don't want Xander to leave," and that seems to be a common theme with people talking about Xander. So a lot of people saying they're going to really miss him, and they will notice. Unlike me being a bit flippant. And Julie says, "I wonder if Luke is going to follow in the footsteps of his cousin Liam Hemsworth." We talked about that last week on the pod, or was it on First Look? I can't remember. We talked about his relation to the Hemsworths and how well all of those brothers are doing, and whether this is another Hemsworth family member or extended family member that might go on to do
hopefully Luke. Because we'll claim him.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know though. It just feels a bit like he's decided it's not for him. I don't know.
Which is fair enough if that's the thing. Yeah.
We don't know anything. We're all surmising about stuff that's none of our business.
Yeah.
But again, he could be back.
Yeah, we don't know.
For all we know.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a head mess, isn't it? I agree with everyone though. He's a very lovable character and he's garnered a lot of love. And I think it's because he is boy next door, unharmful. He's not really pissed anybody off. the viewers haven't really got a reason to want him gone.
No.
So the fact that he'll be missed makes sense to me.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Jamie says, Xander, I'll miss you. Been dreading this. End of Zaina.
Oh, I know. This is how I feel, Jamie. You know,
Yeah.
I thought they had potential, and I was a bit concerned that they weren't getting any bloody airtime. But now I know why. If he was going to be out for God knows how long.
Yeah.
But yeah, they for me they were couple goals, and I thought they had so much potential, and that's what I'm gutted about.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the potential, the loss of potential. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And then Mr. David says, I hope it's not permanent. After he stopped being in Ambo and started working at Salt, he became such a great character. So it's the same thing that we've said, isn't it? That he came into his own in Salt, and
it made him.
Yeah.
It
suited him. That role suited him. So yeah, we'll keep an eye out on the show to see if he comes back. But at the moment, as far as we're aware, 6 weeks, and he'll be back on the show. So let's see what happens in 6 weeks' time, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Put it in the diary.
Exactly.
6 weeks.
6 weeks time.
Talking April, aren't we? Blimey.
Oh God, don't. What about abs, and the Theo stuff?
Getting down, baby. Yeah.
So on Facebook we have Gina. Gina says it was up to Abby to tell Theo. Too many people poking their noses in, and Kirby, as usual, can't keep her mouth shut. I thought that was a bit harsh about Kirby, because Kirby kind of got forced into getting involved by Justin, ambushing her about it, didn't she, really?
Yeah, Justin really was the driving force of that, and the concern behind them getting together.
Yeah.
But he did, to be fair to him, he did leave it up to Theo. Like, he handed the facts over. Do you know what? It must be awful, because you're going through something like that. You're trying to recover. You're trying to redeem, whatever word you want to use. But the town are gossiping and telling people to stay away from you. Oh,
Yeah.
And was Theo's drug problem really a problem? Like, the definition of drug problem. I mean, he hung about with a user.
I don't necessarily think it was a drug problem, that story. I think it was the fact that he had issues going on in his life, and then he happened to take drugs to deal with them. And he could be tempted, especially with the foreshadow of the band coming back.
Yeah, rock and roll and all that.
If he does decide to start doing all that again, I mean, it came off anxiety, didn't it? He was anxious about the band. He was anxious
too
about
much work. Spreading too thin. Yeah.
That's all started to creep back into the storyline. So the bands might be coming back. He's already having conversations with Remy, saying, I've got them, I'm a full-time mechanic now, I'm qualified, and I need to be on my A game when I'm doing that, because he's had that whole Claudia thing where he did a botch job on her car, or whatever we're supposed to believe that happened, and she ended up injured. So that's going to be playing on his mind. Like, he can't go off the rails again because he could hurt somebody, because his job, if he's not doing well in his job, then that could potentially be someone's life that's at risk, I guess, if he does a bad job.
Very true.
I don't know. I just feel like it's we're not being told this specifically, but I'm reading into it that the band's on its way back. He's got anxiety about being a front man. He's got anxiety about interviews. He's got the anxiety of all the things, all the plates he's got spinning. If he was then to date someone who might be tempted to relapse, could he be tempted to relapse as well? Because he's also he's not over. He's still going to counselling, isn't he? He's not over whatever it was that triggered the drug taking in the first place. That's how I'm reading it. I don't know.
Hence the apprehension. Yeah, you're probably spot on. Probably spot on there. I've probably not given that enough weight. But you're probably spot on.
I'm just overthinking it, but that's all I can think, is that we're going back 6 months to that time again, where he's going to be a mechanic, and he's going to be in a band, and he's going to be plate spinning. So, and how we got through it last time was drugs. So let's not do that again. Let's not do that.
No, please.
No, let's not do that. Francis on Facebook says oh no, she's replying to someone actually. Let's go back up. I've got Julie saying there are a lot of people in Home and Away who are far too nosy and gossip and blah blah blah. So there was a reply to that, which was from Francis, who says, "This is what it's like in a small community. Everyone does know everyone else's business, though it can be very annoying. On the plus side, if anything happened to you and you hadn't been seen for a couple of days, people would check that you were okay. Plus, if you needed help in any other way, they'd be there for you, unlike big towns or cities." So Julie was saying, like, too many gossips, too many people poking their nose in, can't keep their mouths shut, Kirby getting involved and all of that sort of stuff. But Francis is saying, no, this is a good part of the community, that people do get involved in each other's lives. So that's an interesting debate in itself, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. So take that, Julie. And also, it propels storylines. I think soaps are built on strong. It's normally female, historically, strong female characters that gossip, that it then ripples storylines through other characters. It's how characters meander between storylines. And so the fact that we're set in a small town as well, yeah, what Francis is saying is right. Everyone's in each other's business, but that creates drama. So you'll always get it, especially with a show like this that is set in a small, sleepy town.
Yeah. It might not be what we're used to. We might not be used to that kind of life, because we might live in a city or a town or whatever, and it does seem a bit nosy and gossipy to us. But if we lived in that bubble, it would just be in each
other's pockets.
It'd just be normal. Yeah.
But it is good, because you talk about Justin and Kirby thing. It's that intervening of the surrounding public means that Theo is looking after himself for once, and he's not about to make a massive mistake. So it's got positives to it.
Yeah,
and that's an example.
Yeah, definitely. And then Kim on Facebook says, if Abby's going to get with Marley, she's going to need some meds, because he's so bloody boring.
Now, hang on a minute, Kim. You've brought me this comment on purpose.
I was going to say, I went to Al's bake shop earlier. And I bought some stuff.
Well, if you could find it, where the bloody hell is it?
Oh dear.
Kim, you just can't see what I can see, and you are jealous. There we go.
No one can. Nobody in the known universe can see what you can see.
No, but you're open to it, and I'm gonna get you.
I'm waiting for you to it's gonna happen. I'm hating the idea of it, but it's gonna happen. But anyway, so I baited you with a Marley comment, and I'm going to end your Sound the Bay with a comment that I think you will like. So okay. I'm not horrible, I'm not 100% horrible. Jamie on Twitter says, that Dana and Ab scene, brilliant stuff. Dana is magnificent.
Mwah! Chef's kiss. Yes.
Agree.
Jamie is already a member of the Dana fan club. He was one of the founding members.
Oh, is he paid up? Is he?
Yeah, he's paid up. He's in the club. Well done, Jamie. See, he knows where his bed's built. I think I need to work on him with Marley as well, don't I?
I think you need to work on all of it. Yeah.
No, honestly, I just think my eyes are open now. Honestly.
Please take the time to like, subscribe, and review Coastal News wherever you source your podcasts, and ensure you never miss an episode.